Hi there, this is Anne Bryant, and I'm this episode's host today for She Sailor Sea Story. This is about, we think, my 5th time hosting one of these events, and I really love them. Lovely to hear the voices of our members telling stories, and today we have very special presenters. I am a sailor and a writer, and I produce a YouTube channel called Acorn to Arabella. I'm here in Rockland, Maine, sitting in my boat at anchor, and it's rainy outside, but absolutely turning into a beautiful sunset. Thank you so much for joining us today. And I'm a big fan of National Women's Sailing Association. I'm a proud member, and I am really excited today to talk about AdventureSail. She Sailor Sea Story is brought to you by the National Women's Sailing Association. Check us out or support us with your membership at womensailing.org. Highly recommend becoming a member. There's a lot behind the scenes there that you get access to once you have a login. Your membership supports our efforts to enrich the lives of women of all ages through education and access to the sport of sailing. We focus in the following 4 areas. We develop educational programs and venues for women sailors. We act as an informational clearinghouse for women sailors and organizations. We enhance the life experiences of girls and women through sailing, and we support individuals and organizations that involve women in sailing. Across the nation, many volunteers have partnered with NWSA, local women's sailing associations, sailing centers, and girls serving organizations to share a day of sailing adventure to underserved girls. This She Sailor Sea Story episode centers around girls who have experienced an introduction to sailing and they loved it and then applied and received sailing scholarships. It is certain to be a special hour featuring sailors who have discovered the joy of sailing at a young age. A common thread of all storytellers today is the Women's Sailing Foundation's AdventureSail program and scholarship support for girls who sought to further their sailing experience. Daisy, Allyson, and Stephanie all received scholarships to attend sailing camp. And this season, the Women's Sailing Foundation and NWSA and our host partners took more underserved girls sailing than ever before. We're featuring a few girls and a host tonight. One of our Learn to Sail Scholarship recipients sailed at the Mattituck Yacht Club. This host also awarded a scholarship to 2 other AdventureSail participants. And here's a bit about their AdventureSail Day events. Laura Venkopalan from Mattituck Yacht Club. Tell the audience a little bit about your awesome AdventureSail program.
Sure. So my name is Laura. I grew up sailing with my dad and my family, so was very lucky to have been introduced to sailing at a young age. And we live here on Long Island. We're surrounded by water, but not everyone who lives in our area has access to water sports. If you don't have that family connection, there's little option to learn sailing. Our local schools, there are some schools farther east from us that do have sailing teams, but where I grew up in Riverhead, there's no school sailing team, and there's no community sailing organizations. And so sailing really has remained, a white male dominated sport around here. And so I was so excited to discover this structure of a program, AdventureSail Day, that enabled me to introduce sailing to girls who wouldn't normally have access. And I approached a local organization, Butterfly Effect Project, based in Riverhead, whose goals really are to broaden the horizons of girls who participate in their program. And they were excited to to give the girls this opportunity to try out sailing. And I also wanted to make sure that any girl who expressed an interest would be able to pursue that interest further. And then the idea of a scholarship came about. And so with three organizations working together, Mattituck Yacht Club, Butterfly Effect Project, and National Women's Sailing Association, all three organizations contributed funds to help make those scholarships possible, as well as individual donations from our local community, because it is so important to the community also to provide sailing access. And so we've been able to offer a 2-week scholarship to Mattituck Yacht Club's program to 3 girls. And so excited that Daisy and Allyson participated, and we're eager to return this year. So happy they're here to share some of their experiences. Yes, so this is a picture of our first Adventure Sail day. This was right at Mattituck Yacht Club. We were so lucky to have Dawn Riley come and speak. She is a National Sailing Hall of Fame and sailed around the world on the first all-women's team in the Whitbread race, I believe. And she was just a fantastic speaker. It was a lot of fun. We have small boats, dinghies at Mattituck Yacht Club. So we took the girls out on Sunfish. And then this year, this is a picture from this year, Maiden was docking at Oak Cliff, which is the high performance sailing school that Dawn Riley runs. We were able to bring the girls aboard Maiden, speak with their current crew, and it was a lot of fun to see. And then Dawn took the girls on a tour of Oak Cliff. They have sailors live at the facility. They have teenagers, college age kids, all learning high performance sailing, offshore racing, you name it, they do it. And we were able to get the girls out again on small boats, because I really felt like it really gives a true feeling of sailing when there's a lot of wind. When you let go of the sail, the boat responds immediately, and that's the joy of dinghy sailing. And that's that's how we share it with the girls. So.
That's so great, Laura. What a great way to introduce Adventure Sail into your community. Really appreciate that. And it's really great to have 2 of your participants here today. So we have Daisy, Allyson, and Stephanie here tonight. And our first storyteller is Daisy. Daisy attended the 2021 and 2022 Adventure Sail at the Mattituck Yacht Club in New York. This summer, she was awarded a Women's Sailing Foundation Learn to Sail scholarship to attend camp, where she took the helm on an Opti. She also sailed with other happy campers on a 420 in a breeze. Daisy prefers a good amount of wind. Spanish is Daisy's native language. So, hi Daisy, how are you?
I'm good, and you?
Good, good. I'm so glad that you're here with us tonight, and I can't wait to hear your story. Welcome, welcome. Why don't you go ahead and tell us about your time with Adventure Sail?
I had really fun, especially since I like the water and everything. So I had a fun time sailing with Allyson, who's also my best friend. I actually made a story.
Yeah, let's hear your story. Love it.
Okay. Hola, bienvenidos. Mi nombre es Daisy y tengo 10 años. Hi, welcome. My name is Daisy and I am 10 years old. This evening, I'm going to tell you my experience on sailing and how to rig up a boat, which is basically building the boat. 2 months ago, I went to sailing camp at the Mattituck Yacht Club for the 2nd year. Sailing is really fun. The water, the waves, and the strong winds make sailing amazing and more adventurous. The strong winds make sailing more exciting, in my opinion, especially on a 420. There's really nothing to be afraid of. My experience overall was amazing and fun. I learned a lot from my instructor, Emma, and we even played different games like Mafia, which I really enjoyed. I also really enjoyed when we had Adventure Day, which was on Fridays. One day, we went to the Jamesport beach on a 420 on Adventure Day, and it was so much fun going and coming back on the 420. We played on the Maui mat at the beach on the water. A Maui mat is a floating mat that you can play on in the deep or shallow waters. I personally love the water, and sailing is by far one of my new favorite sports. There are a lot of parts to sailing, but the main part is rigging up a boat. First, you need an opti boat, a sail, a tiller, a dagger board, and a sprint pole, and make sure your boat has a main sheet. Here's how to put your boat together. First, put your tiller and dagger board inside the boat. Then you unroll your sail and attach it to the hole on the bow of your boat, which is the front of the boat, and apply your sprint pole in the two holes on the top corner and the bottom corner of your sail. When you are in the water, put in the tiller and dagger board in place. When on the boat, make sure you know these two things. Number one, when you pull your main sheet all the way, you will go faster. Number two, when you let go a little, your boat slows down. And if you let go all the way, your boat will stop completely. Sailing is a lot of fun and you can learn so much from sailing camp. I am thankful for the opportunity given to me, and I hope that I can continue to take sailing classes in the future to learn more about sailing, and in a few years teach my baby sister Emma how to sail. I hope you enjoyed my presentation, and I hope you learned the things you need to learn if you want to start sailing at the Mattituck Yacht Club. Thank you for joining us this evening. Thank you to the Mattituck Yacht Club and to the National Women's Sailing Association.
Yay, excellent. This is my favorite slide so far. A picture of you waving at the camera and having a good time. And it looks like maybe we also have a picture that you drew of sailing, of putting their rig up.
Yes.
Yes. How lovely. And there's a few people in the chat, Daisy, I want to let you know they're saying that you're really cool and that they're really glad that you're sailing, and that good job. Also, if we are, I think we're going to do a little Q&A just now. Will you answer a couple questions for us?
Sure.
Great. I'm wondering personally, how old is your sister, and you're hoping to teach your baby sister next year?
Well, she's actually 1, so I'm gonna wait a couple of years till she's at the right age to sail.
That's a good idea. Okay, so you meant baby sister. That makes sense. Naomi has a question.
Hi, Daisy. My name's Naomi. Great story. I know a lot of people watching, they've also learned on smaller boats like you have on an Opti, or what was the other boat that you were learning on that you loved going fast?
The 420.
The 420, yeah. I'm wondering, do you have any interest maybe in the future or even now to sail on a bigger boat?
Well, I haven't sailed on a big boat yet, so I don't know what it feels like. But in the future, I could possibly sail on a bigger boat.
Thanks for your answer.
I think it's really cool that Daisy is bilingual, and I'm wondering if she knows any of the parts of the boat's names in Spanish, and if she does, if she could tell us what they are.
The boat is a barco, and the sail is velero.
Do you know what the word is for the rudder?
Caña del timón.
Very
cool. You already said that you wanted to learn more about sailing. Why?
I want to learn more about sailing because in the future, I think like once I'm more like of an adult, I could like buy a boat and maybe go like live near water and sail.
Thank you.
And by the way, Daisy, you are welcome to come sailing on my boat, which isn't that big, but it's a little bigger than a 420. Just a little bit though.
Thank you.
So now that we've had a couple questions in, thank you so much, Daisy. You did a wonderful job. I think we're all clapping in our own way here over Zoom for you.
Thank you.
So if you would like to introduce underserved girls to the joys of sailing, find out more about AdventureSail and AdventureSail Day, we are pasting a direct link to right here in the Zoom chat for that. Or you can visit womensailing.org and have a look around there, and we have AdventureSail information there as well. So I believe we're ready to introduce Allyson, our second storyteller tonight. She also attended the 2021 and 2022 AdventureSail at the Mattituck Yacht Club in New York. And this summer, she was awarded a scholarship from the Mattituck Yacht Club to attend the camp. Once she learned the skill of taking the tiller, she has enjoyed a summer full of adventure. Allyson is also bilingual and is a budding artist. So, hi there, Allyson. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
Hello to everybody that is hearing me. Today I will be sharing my story about sailing camp. I have done this for 2 summers now and I loved it. I was a bit scared, but I got the coaches to show me everything. I said to myself, wow. I'm gonna ask my mom if I could come back next year. This summer, there was a lot of new people. There was only one person I knew, and her name was Daisy, my best friend. I don't really like talking about this bad experience story. I don't know. But once I was sailing like into the figure of the 8, far away, and I was so scared, especially there was so much tacking and the tiller was going left. So the boat kept going in circles. Then I froze for like a minute and the boom was right behind me. The boat kept going in circles and the wind pushed the boom towards my head, hitting me. That's when I unfroze. I started crying. Next thing I hear, my partner called Emma for help. I learned from my coach Emma that I can never go one way. So if I went back all the way, I would just be going in circles. After that, then Emma took me on the motorboat to comfort me. It was a good learning experience.
Allyson, thank you so much for sharing that. It's hard to share some of our harder stories, but it really means a lot to everyone else to hear you overcoming a fear. And it doesn't sound like you were discouraged, that maybe you were a little scared at first, but do you still want to keep sailing even though it was kind of, there was that moment?
Yes.
Yeah. Hey. And what do your friends and family think about you sailing?
My friends say it's cool that I'm sailing, and my family, probably my mom, she says that I should become a coach or a sailor.
I think so, especially since you've overcome a tough moment to come out the other end saying, heck yeah. Do you have some other reasons why you want to keep sailing?
I want to keep sailing because it was like my dream come true, and what I always wanted to learn something new.
Well, it's definitely a really cool thing to learn that's new, that is unique in the world. What was the most fun thing that you learned at camp?
It was when we went out to the field, and the floor was lava, and we had to get to the other side. So in order to get to the other side, we had to use our life jackets to step over to rig the boat. And the hardest part, because we had to like bring the things to rig the boat to the opti. So that was even harder.
Oh wow, yeah. And then I think I would just love to hear how you felt when you got back in a boat again after your tough time and you were able to make the boat do what you wanted it to do. How did that feel?
It felt good because if I didn't, I would just be going in circles, capsize, or hurt myself.
Yeah. Well, you sound like a powerful person who learns quickly, and I'm glad to know you, Allison. Thank you so much for telling your story tonight. If anyone has any other little questions for Allison, we'd love to know. We have a couple of people. Gina says, never stop learning. And Debbie says, glad you stuck with it and figured it out. Linda says, you're a brave girl to have had a bad experience and want to keep sailing. Good for you. It was a learning experience and don't be discouraged. And Marie says, Allison, you're an inspiration for girls who want to learn to sail. So thank you so much. Sail on, says Debbie. Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Allison. And we're all clapping in our own way over Zoom. Huzzah. Good job. You can support sailing scholarships at these clubs and at other community sailing centers through the National Women's Sailing Association. A donation to us at NWSA can go to these programs. So if there's one in your area, you can also let us know about that. And if you need some backing there or whatnot, I'm sure that you can talk to the organization and we can figure out where to funnel that. Thanks to the donors and the Mattituck Yacht Club for sending Allison to camp. We've got Stephanie. Stephanie is a student at San Pedro High School in Los Angeles. So we're going to the West Coast now for a story. Applied for NWSA's Sue Corl Youth Scholar earlier this summer. And in her letter of recommendation for the scholarship, she expressed the hope of a bit of sail training. And the writer thought that would open exciting opportunities to Stephanie. So Stephanie was granted the Sue Corl Scholarship, and as her thank you, promised she would not disappoint. Hi, Stephanie, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, it's good to see you. You're on a boat too. We're on boats.
Yes.
Very good. Where's your boat at, and what's the name of your boat you're on?
This isn't my boat, actually. It's my guardian's, but my boat is called the Oasis. It's in Cabrillo.
Tell us your story.
Yeah. So this is when I was an intern, actually, after I was a camper. And this was with two of my favorite campers during that session who really latched on to me. And even one of them had also a bad experience where it was very windy on their first day. And when they started crying and stuff, I got in the boat with them and I actually started sailing with them to kind of calm them down a little bit. Yeah, and then that was actually while I was a camper. I'm the one in the white bathing suit. And that's when on Fun Fridays, because our sessions there were 2 weeks long. So the last Friday, we would always go to Cabrillo Beach right next door, and we would sail there, and then we'd go hang out on the beach and stuff for the first part of the session. And the photo to your left is while I was an intern, and I decided to take a camper out while it was blowing, I want to say roughly 17 knots, and it was close to white capping but wasn't completely there yet. It was very powerful, and it was their first time out sailing in rough winds, so it was good. That's while we were tacking. The second picture to the right of us on a unicorn, that's also while I was an intern. One of the campers decided to bring a unicorn, and we towed it behind one of the coach boats, and we were going super fast while we were going on the unicorn. The one on the left is at an actual AdventureSail event where I was at the knot tying station, one of my personal favorites, teaching people how to tie knots. On the right side is at a Fun Friday when we decided to 5-man an FJ, which is a 2-person boat, if you weren't aware. And we almost sank it, but don't worry, the boat came out in one piece. We're good. On the left is another picture from AdventureSail while I was sailing the big boat. And on the right is while we were surfing off of the coach boat's wakes with my favorite coach of mine. That was pretty fun. And that is during a race. It was in the camp. It wasn't a regatta or anything, but it was a race that I did indeed lose because we capsized twice in a row. And then we got stuck in the mud both times. And I'm the one in the white.
Thanks to the Sue Corl Youth Sailing Scholarship donors, you helped send Stephanie on her adventures. I've got a couple of questions for you, Stephanie. So it seems like you moved on to the boats for more skilled sailors pretty quickly. Was it the camp that helped you do that?
I feel like ever since I was a kid, I've been a very quick learner, and I've always been able to pick up stuff very quickly, and I'm very attentive to what people are saying to me. So I moved from beginner FJs to advanced FJs very quickly.
When you went back to camp as an intern, what's the process for that? So let's say, Allyson was just saying that she was interested in maybe someday being a coach or doing that sort of thing. How do you get to be an intern?
So basically, an intern is kind of like a coach in training, and that's what you need to be before you become a coach. So what you'll do is, it's usually people who've been coming to the camp for a very long time, but on my end, it was just because I became very advanced very quickly, and I was of age to be an intern, because you do have to be 15 to be an intern. And I just asked the head coach, I was like, hey, can I be an intern? I learned very quickly, and a good thing about being an intern is just because you're teaching other people doesn't mean you don't stop learning. So I got the job very quickly, and then I can be a coach next year because I am 16 next year, but I do decide that I think I should be an intern for another year and kind of learn a lot more because it's of the kids' interests.
You also are going to be joining a sailing team.
Yes, I'm a part of my school sailing team, and we're going to be practicing at CBYC Yacht Club. It's kind of cool because the different schools in the area will all go to CBYC to train together, but we are doing our regattas against each other. Okay. So it gives it a little more friendly competition.
Naomi asks, what's next for you, Stephanie? Which I think that sailing team's a part of that, but anything else for you in sailing?
Definitely the sailing team and going to a lot of regattas and a lot of practice. I am going to be, once I get my key card and my membership for CBYC, because I did get the scholarship for the membership, I'm going to start sailing on my own time with some people my age that want to sail. So I'll be kind of like taking in more people to do sailing as well. After that, just another year of interning and then hopefully coaching.
We have a couple of very practical things. One is from Debbie. Do you ever attach empty milk jugs to your mast to keep them from turtling? We do that frequently in Lake Pontchartrain because it's so shallow.
Yes, we do that on the rad sails, but not the full sails. And instead of milk jugs, we use like toddler life jackets. It's really cute and it's funny to see.
Oh, that's pretty adorable. That's a good Daisy, our fellow storyteller tonight, Daisy asks, what do you do when you capsize with 2 people? Do you help the other person or people up? And then how do you do that?
Capsizing, usually the one person, typically the crew in FJs, they'll jump right onto the centerboard, so they don't typically end up in the water. And then the skipper will kind of be holding on to the hiking straps inside the water. So then when the crew heels the boat over and jumps in the boat, the skipper just kind of like slides right in because they're holding on to the hiking straps.
Ramona says, I like that. Practice, practice, practice until it becomes a learned memory and an automatic response. And Linda says, Stephanie, you're so wise for your age. Recognize that teaching others helps you learn for yourself. This is something many adults in sailing haven't learned. So thank you so much, and we hope to hear one of your coaching stories in future on She Sailor Sea Stories. You'll come back, right? So and anyone else have questions for Stephanie or any of the other we can definitely be able to, any of our other storytellers tonight will definitely be able to do that during our wrap up here at the end. To donate to Sue Corl and the Learn to Sail Scholarship or NWSA General Fund, you can visit womensailing.org. Please have a poke around there. And when you hear the excitement from these girls tonight and what it opened up for them as for opportunities, and the fact that it's not just that one camp, they're really interested in continuing on with sailing even beyond the camp and teaching others, possibly even in the same program, to sail in future. You can also donate to your favorite club or community sailing center to host an adventure sail, and then help send a girl enthusiastic about sailing to camp. So thank you so much for coming tonight.